Let's take a look at the questions on homework number 17, starting with absolute value equations first. The most important thing to remember about absolute value equations is that in order to solve them, you first need to remove any mathematics that's located outside of the absolute value bars, meaning if there was a coefficient out here, we'd have to divide by it. If there was a constant over here, we'd have to perform the inverse of it. Once you get just an absolute value expression, you can start to solve your problem. Absolute values are a number's location from 0. So if we're telling you that a number is 29 spaces from 0, it can either be located at positive 29 or it can be located at negative 29. Since there are two separate possible locations, then we're going to write two separate equations here. One that has a positive 29 answer and the other which has a negative 29 answer. And when you write the absolute value expression, you're going to remove the absolute value bars. So now we have our setup. We simply perform the inverse operations, subtract 11, subtract 11, subtract 11, subtract 11, and then divide by negative 2, divide by negative 2. And now we have our two solutions. When you go to type your solutions, you'll need to press this plus sign, so if there are more than one answer, you can type them both. Let's try this one more time. Again, you write the algebra expression that's inside the absolute value bars without the bars and the original answer. Then you write the exact same absolute value expression without the bars with the opposite of that answer. Perform your inverse operations. Subtract 1, subtract 1. Divide by 5, divide by 5. And then enter your two solutions here in the answer key by pressing this plus sign. So you type your first fraction, and then you type your second fraction. All right, let's go back and take a look at the second topic, linear inequalities. The main idea with an inequality is that when you divide by a negative, the order of the inequality will reverse. So let's see if that will happen here. We're going to subtract 4h from both sides, leaving us with negative h plus 4 is greater than or equal to negative 9. We'll subtract 4 from both sides, leaving us with negative h is greater than or equal to negative 13. And then we're going to divide both sides by the coefficient, which is negative 1. Now we are dividing by a negative value, so that means this inequality will reverse and go in the other direction. So our answer is h is less than or equal to 13. We're going to choose from the drop-down menu, and then we'll type our response. Now sometimes when you're performing the math, you might move your variable to the other side. Now you might not do that for this exact problem, but I'm going to do that just so I can show you what happens. We would receive this as our next step, and then we would subtract 2 from both sides, and then we would divide by negative 10. Again, we're dividing by negative value here, so we're going to reverse the order of our symbol. But what you'll notice over here is that our variable is on the right side, and in the answer key, it's on the left side. When that happens, you have to read your answer in reverse. H is less than 2/5. That's what that says. So if you want to reverse the order of your sentence, you need to reverse the order of your inequality. So we're going to choose h is less than 2/5. All right, let's take a look at the third topic, basic function equality, where we're going to be given two equations, two graphs, and then they're asking us for what value of x. What is the x coordinate when the two functions are equal to each other? And when the two functions are equal to each other, that means they intersect. So this is the point of intersection. The point of intersection is 4, 6. but they're asking us what value of x. So they want to know 4. So we're going to type a 4 here in the answer solution, and that's all we need to do. Let's try that again. This one happens to have 2 points of intersection. This point of intersection is -4, 2. That point of intersection is 8, 6. So what values of x are they equal? The answers are -4 and 8. So we're going to type 2 solutions here. The first one is -4 and the second one is 8. All right, let's take a look at the fourth topic, finding average rate of change from a table. To find the average rate of change means to find the slope between 2 very specific points. So an average rate of change means that we need to find the slope between the points that have an x value of 0 and an x value of 6. So if you remember correctly, the slope formula is the change in y divided by the change in x. So y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So we're going to use the point that has an x value of 0 and a point that has an x value of 6. In using the rate of change formula here, the slope formula, the second y is 82, the first y is 94. Second x is 6, the first x is 0. 82 minus 94 is 12, -12, and -12 divided by 6 is -2. So the average rate of change between 0 and 6 is -2. So we'll type that here and submit. Let's try it again. Identify your x values so you can find the correct ordered pairs. Set them up in the giant subtraction fraction and compute. And then you're done. All right, let's go back and take a look at the fifth topic, solving linear systems graphically. The solution to this system is this point of intersection. The point of intersection is 0, 5. You type both coordinates into the solution box. Using parentheses and a comma to separate the values. All right, I think you've got the hang of that. Let's take a look at the last topic here, solving linear systems graphically without the graphs provided for you. In order to graph a linear function, you're going to first start by plotting the y-intercept, and then you're going to use this slope value to find the next point along the line. Remember, the slope value is the change in y over the change in x, or the rise over run. If it's not a fraction, simply put a 1 in the denominator. So we're going to rise 2 units and run 1. Rise 2, run 1. And all of these points would lie along the same line. When using your computer mouse, you'll click once on the -5, and then that will generate a line which you can move and then click a second time. So this is the first line. Then for the second line, we'll start at +1, and its slope is -1. -1, denominator +1. These two lines intersect at the point 2, -1, and we'll type that down here using parentheses and a comma to separate the coordinate values. Again, one more time. When you plot your first point, start at the y-intercept, +4, and then move along this line using the slope values 1 over 2. Rise 1, run 2. Second line has a y-intercept of 1 and a slope of -1 over +1. That point of intersection is the solution. And that concludes the homework for number 17.